Good evening, students. Welcome to our YouTube channel. This is Python video lesson number 27. In previous 5 to 10 lessons, we studied about functions and then arguments. That is what we studied for the past 5 to 10 lessons. In this lesson, we are going to study about object-oriented programming concept. This object-oriented programming concept not only related to Python, it's related to all the object-oriented programming languages. For example, C++, Java, as well as C#, then Python. So now we will see how Python works as a object-oriented programming. Before that, we must know what is object-oriented programming concept. What are the concepts are there? That is what we are going to study in this lesson. Then we will see how Python acts as a object-oriented programming concept, or how the Python obeys all the object-oriented programming concept. First, we must know what are the concept. Then we are going to study the definition for the concept. Object-oriented programming concept. Simply we can call it as OOPS concept. Object-oriented programming concept. Simply we can call it as OOPS, object-oriented programming concept. There are 7 concepts are there. We will see one by one. First one is class. Sorry, object. First one is object. Second one is class. Third one is encapsulation. Fourth one is data ID. Fifth one is abstraction. Sixth one is polymorphism. Seventh one is inheritance. So there are 7 concepts are there in object-oriented programming concept: object, class, encapsulation, data ID, abstraction, polymorphism, and then inheritance. First we will see object. So it can be anything around us. For example, it can be anything around us. In normal life, whatever we are seeing around us is object. It may be person, animal, or anything, etc. So object is anything around us. It may be a person, animal, or things, etc. So object normally characterized by objects are characterized by identity. Name itself can control. It is name of the object. So identity is the name of the object. Then properties. Or attributes or data. Properties, attributes, or data. So these are features of object. So what about example for name of the object? Example. Consider, we know very well, mobile phone. So iPhone is name of mobile phone. iPhone is the name of mobile phone. Similarly, Android phone is also the name of mobile phone. So iPhone is the name of the mobile phone. Properties, attributes, and data. These are the features of object. Example, mobile phone model, its color and price. So properties, attributes, or data. These are the features of object. Mobile phone model. What is a mobile phone model? W210, like this Samsung Galaxy. These are the mobile phone model. Color, it may be a red color, green color, black color, and then price. These are the properties or attributes and data. Third one is behavior. Behavior or function or method. We can call it as a behavior or function or method. So it is defined as what are the functions it can perform. What are the functions it can perform? Example, mobile phone can be used for talking and taking pictures. So object, it can be anything around us. It may be a person, animal, or things, etc. Objects are characterized by name, that is identity, that is name of the object, properties or attributes or data. These are features of object, behavior or function or method. This is defined as what are the functions it can perform. So one object can do more than one work, that is more than one function it can perform. For example, mobile phone can be used for talking and taking pictures. What about class? So this is the template for object. Class is a template for object. Template for object with the same attributes. That means attributes or properties or data and the common behavior. Behavior means function. So here class is a template for object with the same attributes and the common behavior. Here attributes mean data, or we can call it as a variable. Behavior means function. So class contains data and functions. From class we are creating object. Object also contains same set of data and functions what lies in the class. That is the meaning of this one. So class is a template for object with the same attributes and common behavior. For example, Windows phone, Android phone, and iPhone are objects of class mobile phone. In this case, mobile phone is a class. Windows phone, Android phone, iPhone are object of mobile phone. So all these objects, that is Windows phone, Android phone, iPhone, should be used for talking and taking picture. This is two functions. All these objects, that is Windows phone, Android phone, iPhone, must have three data or properties attributes. They are model, color, and price. So these three data, model, color, and price. And then these two functions, talking and taking pictures, should be defined within class. If these two functions as well as these three variables are declared under class, all the three objects, Windows Phone, Android phone, iPhone, can have these three variables as well as these two functions. That is the concept of class. That is why class is called as it is a template for object with the same attributes and common behavior. Next concept is encapsulation. So, process of combining data and functions. Data means variable. Data and functions within a single unit, which is called class. The process of combining data and functions within a single unit, which is called as a class. That means class contains data and function. Data and function. Thus, data of class can be accessed by member. This member data of class, we can put it member data. Member data of class can be accessed by member function of that class only. So it keeps data safe from any external interference and misuse. We are having one class, that class having certain set of data and functions. These member data of that class can be accessible by only member function of that class only. That is called encapsulation. So process of combining data and functions within a single unit, which is called as class. Thus, member data of a class can be accessed by member function of that class only. So it keeps data safe from any external interference and misuse. That is the usage of encapsulation. Data ID. So mechanism of hiding member data of one class from other classes. To protect the data from accidental or intentional use. So data hiding is a mechanism of hiding member data of one class from other classes. That means we are having two classes. One class contains one variable. Another class cannot see or cannot make visible. The data cannot visible to the other classes. That is meant as data ID, accidental or intentional access. How it's possible to hide one member data of one class from other classes? It is possible with making one variable as private or public. That will see. In a class, members may be declared as public and private. Public or private. Public members of class can be accessible outside the class. whereas private members of class cannot be accessible from outside the class. So here, data ID, mechanism of ID member data of one class from other classes to protect the data from accidental or intentional access. How it possible? With the help of private and public keyword, it is possible. In a class, members may be declared as public or private. So public member of a class can be accessible from outside. If one variable or one function is declared under public, it is accessible from outside the class. Whereas members, data or functions which are declared under private cannot be accessible from outside the class. By using public and private, data ID is achieved. Now, abstraction. Abstraction is quite opposite to encapsulation. This is process of making data and function of one class accessible to outside the class by making or by declaring them public. So process of making data and functions of one class accessible to outside the class by declaring them public. So already we studied encapsulation, process of combining data and function within a single unit. Member data of a class can be accessed by member function of the class only. Here we are studied process of making data and functions of one class accessible to outside the class by declaring them public. So that is why I told encapsulation means the data inside the class can be accessible by member function of the class only. Whereas here we are making data accessible to outside the class. That is why encapsulation and abstraction are complementary each other. Next one is polymorphism. The polymorphism means acting more than one form. It is the ability to use operator or function in more than one form. Depending upon the data it receives. Data types, values. So polymorphism, ability to use one operator or one function in more than one forms, depending upon the data type values it receives. There are two types. One is operator overloading. There are two types under polymorphism. One is operator overloading. This operator overloading, one operator behaves differently to different values, different data type values. For example, already we know 10 plus 20 gives 30. 10 plus 20 gives 30. That's good. Whereas Python plus program gives Python program. See what is the difference between year and year? Here we are using same operator. Here also plus, here also plus. Since left hand side and right hand side of the plus operator as numbers, it makes addition. It gives 30. Whereas in this case, operand left hand side as well as right hand side both are string value. That is why it is not making addition, it is making concatenate or joining. Python program. So same operator, this plus operator, here it does addition, here it does concatenation. That is why it is called operator overloading. One operator behaves differently to different data type values it receives. Second one. B is function overloading or method overloading. Function overloading or method overloading. Same thing, but functions with same name can act differently upon the arguments. So from our program may contain or our class can contain more than one function with the same name as long as their argument or parameter list is different. So we will see here example def text. This is one function. It returns hello. Similarly, we are having one more function. Def test of 10, 20. It can return 10 plus 20. So it is possible. It is possible. Our class can contain more than one function, or our program may contain more than one function with the same name. Here also test, here also test. Here there is no parameter. Here we are having two parameters. Here we are having two parameters. Instead of value, I can put parameters a plus b. Here also we can put a plus b. Okay, if we call text function without argument, this will execute. That is, allow will be displayed. If we call text function with the arguments, with the two arguments, okay, whatever value will be stored into A will be added with the value stored into B. It return A plus B. So depending upon the argument it received, same function with the same name act differently. This function returns hello. This function returns number of addition of these two numbers. That is what is called as a function overloading. So polymorphism ability to use operator or function in more than one form, depending upon the data type values it receives. There are two types: operator overloading, function overloading. Operator overloading. One operator behaves differently to different data type values. For example, 10 plus 20 gives 13, whereas Python plus program gives Python program. Here it gives addition, here it gives concatenation. Similarly, function overloading. Functions with the same name can act differently upon different arguments. That is, our program can contain more than one function with the same name, as long as their argument list is different. That is function overloading. Last one is inheritance. Process of forming new class. It is called derived class. From the existing class. It is called as base class. So in this case, members of base class is accessible by derived class. See, so it is possible to create a new class from the existing class. In this case, existing class is called as a base class. Newly created class is called as a derived class. So members of a base class can be accessible by derived class. That is the usage of inheritance. So these are the 7 concepts are called as object-oriented programming concept. Once again repeat. First one is object, next one is class, encapsulation, and then data ID, abstraction, polymorphism, inheritance. Again, there are 2 concepts under polymorphism. One is function overloading, another one is operator overloading. So today I stopped here itself. So today we studied only the concept. In the coming lesson, that means in next lesson, we will study how Python language obeys all these concepts. That means how to create a one class in Python language, how we can create object for the class, how the variables as well as functions, that is data and functions, are encapsulated within a class, how we can declare private members as well as private members, how we can access private members within a class, how we can access public members outside the class, how abstraction is possible by making one variable as a public to make accessible to the outside the class, how we can declare polymorphism, that is polymorphism, how to declare operator overloading, how to obey function overloading, and then how to create a new derived class from the existing base class. That is will we study in the coming lessons. So today I stopped here itself. I hope all of you enjoyed this lesson. In next lesson, we will see a little bit more. Until then, thank you students. Bye-bye.